11.
Gavin Newsom is heading to Sacramento to become lieutenant governor, and San Francisco city supervisors spent this evening trying to decide who his replacement should be. Tonight we look at the names being floated as well as what's ahead for city supervisors. KRON 4's Dan Kerman joins us live outside San Francisco City Hall with our top story. Dan, any decision?
No decision, Catherine. They met for 5 hours, and we still do not have an interim mayor. Let me tell you what happened. The first thing that happened at 5:20 this afternoon, the board's attorneys told them they really couldn't select a mayor because Gavin Newsom is legally still mayor until he takes the oath of office as lieutenant governor. But the board decided anyway that they were going to select someone. The progressive majority on the board thought that they had the 6 votes needed to select Sheriff Mike Hennessy, but they voted twice, and they only got 5 votes. They were hoping that Supervisor Bevan Dufty would come over to their side. But instead, Dufty called for a half-hour recess. During that recess, he contacted Mayor Gavin Newsom. And when he came back, not only did City Administrator Ed Lee have his vote, but he also had a total of 6 votes. Bevan Dufty, Sophie Maxwell, and those who are not part of the progressive majority. At that point, they called for another recess. Bevan Dufty said here's why he decided to support Ed Lee.
One of the things that I've thought about is that whoever comes in to do this job has to balance a lot of things besides the budget. They have to balance a progressive majority on the board. They have to balance doing a good job of working with all these city departments and making the city work over the next year. And I honestly believe Ed can do that. I think that he is somebody who's had a life's career in civil rights that by any measure would qualify him to be a progressive.
Now, when they came back from that recess, it was suggested that they were going to vote and that Ed Lee would become the new interim mayor. But that vote never took place. They had various conversations. One of those was Chris Daley, who was very angry that the progressive majority's choice of Mike Hennessy was not selected.
We had an opportunity, and we made the biggest fumble in San Francisco political history. The blame probably goes to many places, but certainly it rests squarely on the shoulders of President David Chu, and I'm willing to point others out as well. I'm going to have time on my hands. I'm going to have to run an establishment, but I'm going to remain involved and active after this vote and after the gavel goes down on this meeting. I will haunt you. I will politically haunt you for the biggest fumble in the history of San Francisco politics. It's on like Donkey Kong.
Chris Daley aiming his anger specifically at David Chu, who supported Ed Lee along with Bevan Dufty and Sophie Maxwell and several others on the board. But the final vote did not take place. That's because the progressive majority, that really wasn't the majority tonight, asked that they delay the vote because they said they had not had any conversations with Ed Lee to find out just what kind of mayor he wanted to be, because initially Lee had indicated that he wasn't interested in the interim job, only recently to change his mind. So the board majority voted to delay a vote on this interim mayor again. Now they're going to vote on Friday at 3 p.m. But, Catherine, I can tell you that that will not be the final vote either, because whatever they vote on Friday, they're going to have to do it all over again when the new board sits down, because that will be after the mayor leaves office, and only then will that vote be able to be certified. That's the latest here from San Francisco City Hall. Dan Kerman, KRON 4 News.